Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of international rugby. This one, Australia taking on Wales. Now, we have already seen a couple close games of rugby today. The All Blacks versus England just concluding, and then also Samoa versus Spain, a bit of a last-minute thriller as well. And a lot of people are hoping this game will be just as close. Australia winning the first contest. They want to win the second too, and they've got the side that do have the potential of doing so. Looking through at the starting side for the Australians, it will be James Slipper, Matt Faisler, and Taniela Tupou in the front row. Jeremy Williams alongside Lukan Salakaia-Lotto. He had a fantastic season during Super Rugby Pacific. Rob Valentini, he shifts to 6, which brings Fraser McReight, of course, remaining at 7, but Charlie Cale, he is in that number 8 jersey. He's a young player for the Brumbies, had a huge amount of potential throughout Super Rugby Pacific. Someone who knows that firsthand will be Rob Valentini, seeing as he was in that same side, and those two together could be a dangerous duo. Jake Gordon starts at 9 with Noah Lolesio once again as the 10. Hunter Paisami in the midfield with Josh Fluke, with Filippo Ndamgunu, who was able to score himself a try last week, Andrew Callaway and Tom Wright at number 15. So the back three, huge amount of pace, huge amount of vision as well. I look forward to seeing what they will do for the Welsh. In their side, it will be Gareth Thomas, Dewey Lake, and also Archie Griffin as 3. Christ Chinza, and Duff Jenkins will remain as the locking duo. Both of them at 6, Reffel at 7, and then Tame Plumtree slotting in as the number 8. Bevan and Thomas, the 9-10 combination with Mason Grady and Owen Watkin on the outside as 12 and 13. Rio Dyer, Liam Williams, and then Cameron Winnett, the youngster who had a great opening season of the Six Nations. He needs that again. He is so young, but he's got a lot of potential and a bright future, so I do hope he is able to perform in this matchup. Just to let you guys know as well, before we look through at the benches, what is to come for these two sides. Australia will be playing the Georgians in 7 days' time, and then the Reds, they will be playing up against the Welsh, so that'll be an interesting one. See how many international Wallaby players are actually going to be playing in this contest. I would assume that Schmidt will announce his side, and then he will say to anyone else who is outside of that, you are eligible to play up against the Welsh here. But of course, with the Rugby Championship just around the corner, they don't want to risk injuries, but they do want players to be in the best form that they can. So we'll have to wait and see how those two games go. But looking through at the benches, Australia, they have got Nasser, Kailea, and Alan Alatoa as the front row replacements. Blythe and Gleeson as the 19 and the 20. I think there's a live performance at the moment taking place at the Australia versus Wales game. It is going to be a 15-minute away kickoff, ladies and gents. They always say it's 9:45, but it never is. It's always a lot later. For the Australians, Langy Gleeson at 20. I'm looking forward to seeing how he ends up going. Nick White, Ben Donaldson, and Dylan Peach. So there was no Nick White last week. Tate McDermott was off the bench for the Australians. So a few changes, but overall relatively similar to what we did see for last week. For the Welsh side, it is going to be Lloyd, Matthias, and O'Connor. Hill, Martin as the other 2 forward replacements, and then Hardy, Costello, and Nick Tompkins once again at number 23. In the chat, we have got there, wish New Zealand was able to watch Japan versus Georgia as well. Says Novmum there, and why is Craig Cooper not starting? Because he's not even in the squad. And Australia says Daniel Watson, and Fluke, what a name, says Martin Smith, and hello there, Hamish. Says, Felicia, I hope you are doing well, mate. I'm sure you are excited for this contest. Score predictions. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, do let me know. Can't wait for the special needs kids for rugby going head-to-head. Jeez, that's harsh, Grant. And New Zealand move up to 2nd in the world rankings for as long as South Africa win. They will stay in 2nd. Says, Nog Mum and sausages and bread with butter for dinner, mate. And a broke boy famous Abria flavour noodles cup. Yes, Charlie Cale getting the start, says Joe Webby. Yeah, he's definitely one to watch out for throughout this game. He's got a huge amount of talent when it comes to running the ball. His defence is sound. He's going to be one of those guys that you definitely want to keep an eye on throughout this 80 minutes. Anybody else watching these Numbats butchering classic Aussie songs? They are singing them at the moment, yes. I'm not sure why there is a live performance. Like, I'm not against live performances. It just seems like something that if you schedule a game to start at 9:45, I feel like we knew from last week, though, that this game wasn't actually going to start at 9:45. It is starting at 10. And 49k subs. Well done, Hamish. Let's get to 50. Says Aneki, yeah, we are getting extremely close to that 50,000 milestone. I do have something special planned for 50k, although I'm a little bit worried we might end up getting there a bit sooner than I anticipated. We might not quite be prepared for what I wanted to do. Sculpture Bruh, says Samuel, and also Australia 13 points to 16 as the prediction there for Sophie Williams. But I believe both sides are about to make their way out of the tunnel. We will then have the national anthems, and then we are underway for this contest. It's at Amy Park in Melbourne, Australia, dear oh dear oh dear. Pommy accent. And of mum, stuff the rankings don't mean stuff, says Hinari. I mean, they do a little bit, you know, at the end of the day it does, like, there's a system behind the rankings of why certain sides are where they are. It's based off your win-loss record up against the opposition that you face. No, I'm not excited at all. Our special team needs all the help we can get. Thanks, Grant. Crowd size, says Samuel. I have not counted them yet, but as soon as I know, I will let you know. Marius has said hello. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are keeping extremely well. Hope you are excited for this matchup. Should be an absolute ripper. Hopefully, it is going to be a smooth running one. Now, I should mention the last game that we did see. It was actually the contest that took place, and that was between Australia and Wales, but the referee who we did see for the last week's game, he is not reffing this one. Instead, it is Amasha Kelly, the man who refereed the game between New Zealand and England. I think it was $6 for 5 for Wales before the game, says Mr. All In. Yeah, like, Wales are big underdogs for this contest, but they do still have a lot of potential. That is the one big bonus that they've got at the moment, is they are a side that, you know, even though they're young and even though they're a little bit inexperienced, they have got quite the team that they have got available if they can start putting performances together. Aussie, oi, 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 says Hinari, and there as well. I've just realised that might be why you don't care about the world rankings, because of course Australia, not quite where they want to be, but they're building. They were able to get themselves the win over Wales last week, which did push Wales to an all-time low on the overall ranking. Are you streaming South Africa versus Ireland game, Hamish? We certainly are, so be sure to check that one out. Quay Cooper or TJ Perenara, who do you prefer on your squad? Well, it depends on whether it's New Zealand or Australia. That normally will help you out. They couldn't have played the ABs versus Wallaby game at Amy Park last year. I wouldn't have been enough seats. Looks like there's plenty of seats spare at the moment, unfortunately, at Amy Park. Definitely up on the top layer. Like this, where it is all full here, that is empty in the background I have seen. Here we go again, Amy. How far are we? We haven't started yet. 12 minutes away from the kickoff for this contest. It's getting very close indeed. This would be a team to put it against. Or this would be the team to put it against. Says Mr. All-In. Did you pick the first try scorer in the last game? I did not know. I picked Artie Savia. We only saw one try scorer for New Zealand. That was Mark Talair. He was able to score 2 himself, though, so that's a bit of a bonus for that man. But, yeah, I don't think it was the greatest performance for Mark Talair, unfortunately, throughout the 80 minutes. But we'll see what the general consensus is. Melbourne Only Sports, AFL and Tennis, says Martin Smith. Of course, at the moment, there is Wimbledon going on. I've not actually watched a single minute of Wimbledon, even though last week I said I would. I have not. Looks like a decent attendance. James Slipper at the moment, he looks locked in at the moment, trying not to let the occasion get to him, but he is ready to go for this matchup. Charlie Cale, of course, going to get that start at number 8, his first start for the Wallabies. Rob Bellatini, he has moved to 6 to accommodate Charlie Cale in that 8 jersey. It's probably only the real change that they have had for the side. Was a Bodie, but Ratama put it on. And also we have got their Mark Delia got owned on that crossfield kick that England in the try. But the X-kick is always tough to combat. Says Martin Smith and 30 lashes with the cat. Oh, we got the welcome to country that is now about to take place. But like I mentioned, both of these sides are going to be in action next week, ladies and gentlemen. So if you are new, be sure to hit that subscribe button, as we are going to be back for next week's games as well. The exciting thing is, I have no idea what to expect from Georgia, so that's a bonus. We're going to get to possibly cover that one on the channel. It's actually quite an early game on the Saturday. And then alongside that, I have no idea what to expect from this Red side in terms of how they will match up with the Reds, with Wales, mainly because, that's just unknown really seeing sides play other than the British and Irish Lions. That's normally when we see a club side take on a international team, well, international caliber side, I should say. We have got there in the chat, we've got, what are your thoughts on Marnus Labuschagne? Fantastic player, of course, for the Aussies. Amy Park holds only around 30,000, and I've probably got about 10,000, 15,000 for this match, I would say. And we have got there Bowden was so much better than Perofeta. I don't think Perofeta will start the big games anymore, says Cronies. To be fair, though, Perofeta, I still think, had a very strong game at the back. Like, he had that first initial break for the New Zealanders. How we've got to remember, after that drop kick, he helped them make 80 metres. It was just that they weren't able to finish the job. Reds versus Wales. It's been long. I've seen a club play a national team. Last time, Samoa versus the Crusaders. Says Mark. I have a bad feeling about this Aussie team. Our AB should be worried. And also, we have got the... why are we talking cricket? Someone mentioned Marnus Labuschagne. So, of course, we also mentioned it. Calling Wales an international caliber team is generous, Hamish. Just joking, Fleshin. What is this crick B? Says Martin Smith, but we've got the Australian national anthem now about to take place. Wales, the first national anthem that we are hearing. And Marnus is now playing for the All Blacks, says Fluffy. And there as well, but looking through at the starting lineup for these two sides, we will start with the Australians. It is James Slipper, Matt Faisler, and Taniela Tupou in the front row. Jeremy Williams and Lukan Salakai-Lotto in the locking duo here, with Rob Valentini, Fraser McRae, and Charlie Cale slotting in at 8 for his first international start. Jake Gordon and Noah Lolesio as the 9-10 combo. I thought there was Warren Gatlin in the stands for a second, but of course he will be in the coaching box for this game. Hunter Baisami and Josh Fluke in the centre pairing, with Callaway, Dalgunu, and also Tom Wright as the number 15 for the Welsh. They have got Gareth Thomas, Dewey Lake, and Archie Griffin at the front. Chinza and Jenkins in the locking duo, with James Botham, Tommy Reffel, and Tane Plumtree as the loose forward trio. I feel like I always say it, but this game I think will be determined by these loose forward trios of these two sides. I would say that Australia have the advantage, but Tommy Reffel is definitely an X factor that the Welsh will bring. I believe that man has made more tackles than any other player per 80 minutes of international rugby over the last 12 months. So a little bit of a fun stat there. Bevan and Thomas will be the 10 and 9 combo. Rio Dyer, Mason Grady, Owen Watkin, Liam Williams, and Cameron Winnett, the youngster, at number 15. But do let me know your score predictions for this game, ladies and gentlemen. Hard on Perofeta. Ratama came on and spent the ball delivery for the backs. Advanced Australian Bogans. And stand, please, says Samuel. If I was standing, all you would see was my crotch, Samuel. So I don't think that is what you want. You should sing us the national anthems. I'm all right, I think. And nice to get a tomato sauce that you don't have to squeeze too hard to come out. It's Heinz in New Zealand. Also, Gert by C. And yikes, advancing Bogans. And all right, round 2, let's go. And Perofeta was good, but I don't believe we should be leaving Bowden Barrett on the bench when he can deliver us that. He turned the game around. Says, Cronies, if he asks me, Australian Rugby should live or live stream their games for free to get more support for the Wallabies inside and outside of Australia. Says Martin Smith, and it's on Jim. Says Samuel, a new member on the channel. It is Remo Dryer. Thank you very much for hitting that membership button. Watch out. To Dizzle was in the house. Hello, Tony. Have you been drinking? Hope you're doing well. If it's the Reds versus Wales, will we see a club versus country in future, Hamish? Maybe. Like, Club World Cup's probably first, I think, is the priority that they should be looking at, rather than trying to create something else that may impact the amount that we get to see, if that makes sense. Like, I would like to think Club World Cup is their first priority. They're just showing there, James Slipper. He's up to 136 games, returns to captain the Wallabies for the first time since the 15th of July. That was actually almost exactly a year ago, only a couple of days off. But now, the referee in charge, it is going to be Nika Amushikeli, who is practicing spinning the ball on his finger, because of course you need to be able to do that if you are an international referee. It's a part of the job description. Now, first half is just around the corner. I wish I had a VPN then. I'm in New Zealand. Says Martin Smith. 8-game losing streak. They have said there for the Welsh. Can they turn it around here, or will it be another loss for Warren Gatland and his Welsh side? It'd be good if Australia gets back to top flight, 1990 to 2001, says Martin Smith. Yeah, at the moment, international rugby is more competitive, I believe, than it has been in an extremely long time. And it would be great to see Australia also join in to that competitiveness, you know, with top 5, 6 teams could beat each other on any given day at the moment. See if Australia can slowly build towards doing the same, but nicely taken by Tom Wright. Only the best referees can do the spinny ball finger thing, says Grant. Now Jake Gordon goes off to the short side. Big shot coming in on Jeremy Williams. They want to call it as a maul, but not quite able to hold him up enough. If Wallabies win this, they will win the Bledisloe Cup, says Spider Mech. Now, I should confirm, of course, that is, he's saying that if they win this game, they should be competitive up against the All Blacks and win that, rather than they do not get the Bledisloe Cup if they win this game up against the Welsh. I'm sure they get some other tour of Cup, though. It's Tony drunk again, says Matthew. It's about 10 degrees in Melbourne, says Joe Webby. Backline movement for the Australians. Tom Wright boots it in behind. And it's cleaned up inside of the 22 by, I believe that's Rio Dyer, is it? No, it's actually the 10. In this case, Ben Thomas looked a bit hesitant of whether or not he did actually want to kick that one or run it. In the end, the decision was to keep it in hand. But Bevan, he's going to roll this one back. If the Wallabies win this, they're in with a chance. I think that is from Mr. Haaland. Now, it's going to be kicked high. Waiting for this one. It will be Noah Lolesio. Goes across to Filippo Nungun, who goes straight round Tame Plumtree. But again, the tackler machine, Tommy Reffel, is the man who stops him. Jeremy Williams, another carry for him. And thanks for clarifying. This isn't for the Bledisloe Cup. I was worried, says Tony. And Yellow Tupou sitting 40 metres out from their own line here, Australia. And it does look like they will once again go for that box kick. Going to be rolling it back nicely here for the Aussies. I should mention we are officially halfway through our live streaming for the evening as well, ladies and gentlemen. We are, of course, covering this game as well as the game that has taken place between South Africa and Ireland. That is not too far away from kicking off, only 5 hours' time. That was almost a knock-on the ground. In fact, it was for Wales. Plumtree having a bit of a shaky start here. He's missed a tackle. He's dropped the ball. Now Australia will have the scrum on the halfway line. Gemma's Aussie TV channel, yes, says Martin. He goes down and then just slipping around. Advanced Australian Bogan, sponsored by Crocodile Dundee on drugs. I know a few ladies who can do the skinny ball or the spinny ball thingy. Sorry, Hamish, couldn't help myself. That's your first comment in a long time as well. So welcome back, I guess. Welcome, Hamish. Do you have any memories of the Aussies with the Bledisloe? Not for me. My parents probably would. I know that way back, I think it was a 3-match series. The Australians won it, and then it became a 2-match series. And then the Australians lost it, I believe, was the situation. Although now, of course, we're back to the 2-match series. Noel Alessio across to Lucan Salakai Lotto. Big shot coming in there. Gats didn't like that knock on. Says Annoy. Kick him behind. Attempted from Noel Alessio. Well cleaned up by Tom Wright after it was charged down by Wales. Getting in the breakdown, Liam Williams. Is he over the ball? Yes, he is, and he's managed to get the clean turnover for Wales. Now Chinza goes across to Archie Griffin, who is crunched by Taniela Tupou. Chinza again plays half off to Dewey Lake. For Wales, they have to make sure that they get on the board early. Typical Aussie ladies. Which was conceived at a Bledisloe game. I don't think that's correct. And not my thing. Says Tony, how come you're not streaming? He is going to be podcasting, though, I assume, in the near future, with 2 cents gets distracted. That's going to be nice work in the breakdown from Valentini, but he doesn't manage the turnover. Rush defence there coming from Gordon, so Winnett has to hang on to it. Australia unable to get the turnover, even though they keep on trying. Rush defence from Dungun, who was close to a forward pass. Reffel tackled by Hunter by Sami. Okay, found a Japan versus Georgia stream. Says Novmum. Is it on Sky, Novmum, or is it somewhere else? I assume it's somewhere else, though. That's going to be kicked high from Ben Thomas. That's out on the full by about 15 metres there, guys. What the most impressive Tier 1 defeat to a Tier 2 team in a Rugby International era. Defeat to a Tier 2 team. There's one that comes to mind, but I don't think I should say it because a lot of people will get annoyed and then quote me about how many World Cups a certain side has won. But it was an impressive game. That probably gives you the hints. We have got there. No, I had to look elsewhere. I saw the build up to the ABs, and then we went to the bar. Good game. Everyone was on the edge of their seats until the end. And we have got there Japan box, says Hanoi. Which one you talking about? I don't know about that one. Now, Jake Gordon, 40 metres out from the line now. Their own line, that is. Australia not really going anywhere at the moment with their attack. New Zealand versus Munster, 1972. Now that's going to be nicely taken by Rio Dyer. Back in position for the Welsh. We're seeing a lot more kicking in this game compared to the last contest that we saw between New Zealand and England, which is surprising because New Zealand and England, of course, both averaging the most kicks throughout the last 12 months in their contests. Still going forward here for the Welsh. And the important thing for them is just don't get too overzealous, I think is the best way of saying it. Just make sure you're doing the basics right. And Samoa versus Wales 1990s, I remember every Union fan in the UK were, says Mark. Now that's going to be taken back by Wales. It's very scrappy in the breakdowns. Both of these sides, just if they see the opportunity to steal that ball, they will go for it. Little kick in behind attempted. Well cleaned up by Noel Alessio after Watkin did look for the back. That's an awkward pass, maybe even forward from Noel Alessio. They're only 5 metres out from their line. It looks like Jeremy Williams for a second was going to kick that one, but gives it to Callaway, who will now kick it in behind himself. He's found an acre of space. The ball bounces up for him. Beautiful hands off to Fraser McRoyd. It's a foot race. Rio Dyer should be able to get him, but he's got Dolgunu with him. That is a try of the year candidate right there for the Australians. Sorry, that's probably a bit over the top, but that was a fantastic try for Australia right there. Just quick hands. Callaway's chipping behind to get it away to McRoy, who then had the awareness as a forward to say, I've got a back there. I am not a back, so I should pass the ball to him. But only 5 metres out from their line, right at to offload it. Did it all come from a four pass of Noel Alessio? Probably, but they didn't look back that far, so the try is going to stand in great hands from Andrew Callaway. I want to try. Oh my crikey, mate. And in full flight, says Samuel. Did he tap that ball forward from the kick? Says Fluffy. I think that one went backwards. It was just more that original pass of Noel Alessio when they first looked a little bit shaky that I thought could have been forward. And well done, the Drunk Crocodile Dundees. Says Martin Smith. But that is a fantastic try, ladies and gentlemen. The ability of this Aussie side. You know, it could be a lot higher than some people think, is all I'll say. All right, we will go like this. We will go like that as well. The kick is successful for Noel Alessio, and we are back underway now, ladies and gentlemen. Filippo Nangunu goes away to Rob Vellatini. Currently inside of their 22. A hell of a try that. Yeah, very impressive from Australia. Did you watch European Championship final, England versus Spain, aka English or Spanish? Or will you watch? What time's it on? Tad, how many hours from now? I'll probably be sleeping at the time it's on, or we'll be covering Springboks versus Ireland. But I'll probably watch a replay of it, I would say. Imagine if the score both ended cricket scores for both teams, 60-50. Says Mark. Yeah, I think that will build a lot of confidence for the Aussies early on. But they have to make sure that they keep on attacking that same way. Trying to get the turnover and the breakdown. The ball bounces out the side. Bevan manages to get it, but there was a knock-on from Wales. We had ahead of Euros, or had a Euros at a Greek joint in St Kilda. And the middle tier has good seats in a good position. And come on, Callaway says that Daniel Watson there as well. And he was very, very precise with the way that he created that first try. The chip in behind, also the step, not kicking it away straight off the bat, seeing whether something would build up. It'll be at 7 a.m. the Euros final. So yeah, I'll probably be asleep, but I might catch a replay of it. Something that we are going to be doing, I believe, tomorrow night is going to be New Zealand versus France in the under-20s competition, ladies and gentlemen. So if you are new, be sure to check that out. I'm not actually sure what time that one is taking place. I think it's about 5 a.m. or maybe 2:30 a.m. is when that one will be starting. Currently in Georgia versus Japan. It is currently 0-0 as well. Ladies and gents, $110 to $300 for a seat. Poor Wales came all this way to lose. Says Hanoi. Although that is sport, isn't it? Like, at the end of the day, you go into a contest hoping to win, but sometimes you just don't quite get over the line. We're still early on, though. I'm hungover drunk at a casino in Perth till 2 a.m. last night, says Matthew. It doesn't surprise me. There's also an international women's game of rugby tomorrow, Australia versus New Zealand. It's going to be taking place. Argentina playing South Africa in the under-20s. That is going to be at 12 a.m. New Zealand time. So there's a few games that we may actually end up. France versus Argentina, strong game, says 6, 7, 9. Yeah, that one is going to be a good one. We won't be covering that one, sadly. That's a nice backline again for the Australians. Just moving it through their hands. Out wide to Filippo Dongunu, who once again is tackled on the 22. That's why I felt bad for Spain. Lose to Samoa. It's Alfred says Blues, Nate. And imagine New Zealand train a lot in football. They have a great manager, do tactics, and win FIFA World Cup 2026. Be impressive. And the Box versus Ireland, we are doing that game, of course, on the channel, when we have got an hour build-up for that matchup, so be sure to stick around for that one. Currently on the 22, Australia. Going off to the left-hand side, here comes Rob Valentini. They're asking for a penalty. I think that was Bevan saying he was taken past the ball by Charlie Cale. Taniela Tupou. Tackled again. Gordon looking for his next passing option. It does look like he's going to find Lucan Salakai Lotto's hands. Up to 8 phases at the moment for the Australians. Trying to get their second try of the contest. As Razor speaking French. Says, lovely. It does look that way. Tonga 14, Italy 34. But they said was a sellout, but many empty seats. Yeah, I don't think it's a sellout. Like, there's no reason to have a sellout where half the seats are empty. Like, it's nice to say it's a sellout because it sounds good, but if it's not actually, it looks a bit bad. You watched a rugby game in person. What's usually the best seats to watch from? I've mostly watched live since growing up from 7 to 22. Says Mark. They always say around the halfway line can be quite good, or, you know, down the end, near the goal line. But I'm the same. I haven't actually watched an international game live at the game or Super Rugby level at the game either. Wallabies can't even sell out a home game. This is embarrassing, says Matthew. And Japan score, says Noel Mama next at San Diego. Fiji versus New Zealand. Going to be pretty awesome to see how those two sides match up. Definitely with New Zealand possibly making some changes. Yeah, New Zealand play at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning, ladies and gentlemen. Or the next morning, sorry, Monday morning here in New Zealand. Now McWright wrestled down again. They're 5 metres out from the line with the penalty advantage, and they're 20 phases in at the moment. Looks like Daniela Tupou looks both ways, gives it off to Matt Faisler. The rain's starting to pour as well, so that could be one reason why 5 people didn't show up, but I don't think it's a reason a few thousand didn't. Daniela Tupou again, short ball to James Slipper, and that's going to be knocked on. Penalty goes the way of the Australians after, that's a good strategy from Bevan. He booted that ball away so that Australia could not take it quickly, even though I don't think they would have. It was just a smart move. They were promoting $30 seats a month ago. Maybe that's why they sold out. Or what they sold out of. Cheap seats the best. Terraces, if you can. I find a terrace these days. And also chokers don't get hangovers. Says Mr. Holland. Yeah, the rain is starting to pour a little bit. Not quite as heavy as it was for Samoa versus Spain, because that game was absolutely bucketing down. 14 minutes in, it looks like Australia are going to take the smart move here and go for, once again, the 3 points. Much better decision than going too risky. You know, you don't want to be throwing too many crazy moves out early on. You need points on the board. That is what they will be able to get. All right, we will go like that. And like that. There we go. Noel Alessio lining up this kick now, 1 from 1. Now make it 2 from 2. And that will give the score 10 points in favour of the Australians. Now sitting 10 points to nil. Wallabies sell out when they play the ABs in South Africa, not for Wales. I normally get cheap ones, sit behind the post for the Rebels. says Hanoi. And the terraces at Rugby Park in Hamilton was the days. Says Joe Webby. 15 minutes in at the moment. 10-0 for the Australians. A great start to this contest and a great start under Joe Schmidt for his coaching career for the Australians, although that's going to be the penalty going the way of Wales. Wallabies back not looking the strongest, says Razor Robinson. Okay, there was a clear lift. I'm never drinking again, says Matthew. That's like a good idea. And prove it, says Fluffy. This will be the chance for Wales to take on the 3 points, and that is exactly what they are going to do. They've decided to not take the risk here of going for the corner. They have to get those points ticking over, like I said. Yeah, their rain, it's looking relatively heavy in Melbourne at the moment. And what to do, lots of water, says Australia Sports. Speaking of water, I have got indeed lots of water here. I'm probably going to drink about 4 litres of water throughout these live streams, I would say. And that's a lot, so I'm going to, of course, need to get rid of that water at some point. Come on, Wales, says Blues Nate. Ben Thomas last week, he was 3 from 3, raining where I am, 4 suburbs east of the ground. You need a good fry up. Oh, that's a shocking kick. Oh, that's bad. From Ben Thomas, decent contact. Vodka is a good water substitute, less calories too. He shanked that, says Razor. Yeah, tomorrow I am going to be going out for lunch, which is why I am not doing Argentina-France. We're doing every other international game. Like I mentioned, we're doing South Africa versus Ireland, but Argentina-France we are going to be missing because I'm going to get a little bit of sleep before going out for lunch, but I'm hoping to get a big breakfast, you know, like a decent size one, an all-day breakfast as they call it here. I don't know what it's called elsewhere. I think it's just called an all-day breakfast as well. We have got the shank that. And also that kick is me on the first tee. That's fair. I haven't played golf in about 9 months, Tony. So you probably easily get past me at the moment. I don't want to be mean. We have got there. What kind of restaurant you going? I think it's just like a pub. Like it's just the only one we've got in town pretty much. Or one of the few. That's going to be a slip there for Owen Watkins. And I don't think he did. I think it's just ended up with a little bit of a glitch because it was doing it last time, wasn't it? And now going off to the right-hand side here, Tame Plumtree. Bevan Rod goes now in behind. That's a good shot coming in on Dyer, but quick hands there from the Welsh there down the wing and just falling into touch for both of them. And we have got there, that just about sums us up, although that was a good run down the wing, to be fair. Both of them just ran out of space, unfortunately. Couldn't quite get that next pass on the inside. But 5 metres out, Matt Faisler will have to make sure he gets this one right, or else could be the first try conceded for the Australians. Dungunu, a great blind winger defence from opposite side. Says Annoy, that's loose. Wales claim it, and he's fallen on his back. That was poor from Plumtree. Lack of experience there cost him. He should have tried to take it to ground first. What a nosy one, eh? He won him by Amish, says Blues Nate. And the kick, says Vision. Yeah, no, the kick wasn't good. It was quite poor, unfortunately, for the Welsh. But that run was nice, though. Big boy hungry. I'm just thinking, if I was ever at a gathering, you know, and one of your friends, before he starts eating, just said the quote, "Big boy hungry," I think I'd have to leave. You know, I think I'd say, right, you handle this one, mate. I'm just going to go. Big boy hungry. Now Grady, tackled by Hunter by Sami. Bevan. Short ball from Ben Thomas. Kiwi ref returning the compliment. No, he's Georgian, this referee. And let's Wales just quietly. That's going to be kicked in behind from Liam Williams, playing territory. And once again, the ball will go out just out from the line. What are you guys talking about? Block what? Says Hanoi. Yeah, I don't think he's clicked block. I think it's just a glitch. Nov Mum can't see your messages, Hanoi, so she's confused. But I think it's just a glitch. Oh, a bit of head contact from Lukan Salakai-Lotto. Go the Kangarooters. He blocked a few people in this chat. Says Matthew Lang. Yeah, but that wouldn't affect Nov Mum. For her one. Now thrown in by Matt Faisler. That's a loose ball again, cleaned up by Wales. Now Dewey Lake, what's that for? It's a knock on from Wales. In the line now, says the ref. We're going to have to see a replay of that one, not like us, eh? Says Mr. Orlin. All right, it's going to be a scrum for Australia. As the Georgian referee has proclaimed. Where is it? That is a little tiny fingertip knock on. I can't even see his name in the participants list. Says Novmum. Had a heavy unblock this morning, says Eric J. and Dewey Lake. And All Blacks still 3 decades unbeaten at Eden Park, says Michelle. That is very true, but very close to losing that momentum. 5 metres out from the line at the moment here. Australia, they are going to have to try and get the scrum right. More than likely, Noel Alicio will kick this one downfield. Although, the way that they're set up, it looks like they may actually try and run this one forward. This Georgian ref is pretty average here, but did you see the way he spun the ball on his fingers before the game fleshing? You know, that's the type of thing that gets you street cred, as they say. It's actually a Welsh scrum. Why is it a Welsh scrum? That was a knock on there at the back from Tame Plumtree that time, but it is going to be play on by the sounds of it. Counter-ruck coming from the Australians. They wanted the turnover. Have they got it? Yes, they do somehow. Jeremy Williams just throws it back. This is an absolute mess at the moment, but now Wales in possession. And Aussie. So here's Moss there. The advantage is over. He's called George. Is that the story? Says Eric. He is not, no. No, I've never been at a lunch where someone said, big boy hungry. But if I was, like I said, I'd probably have to leave. If England took their chances in the first 20 minutes of the second half, outcome, I think that is, would have been different. Says Mono Lagrange, if the All Blacks took their opportunities in the first 20, could have been a different game. Like, there are always going to be those little things, but the end result was the All Blacks got their way over. How do rugby pens and conversions work? Sometimes they were kicked to the point. It's always near the halfway line, says Mark. So it's pretty much just, if you feel like it's in your kicking range, like, you're pretty much given a mark, and then from there you're allowed to go back from that mark, but you're not allowed to, like, change the angle, if that makes sense. You should concentrate on his reffing rather than being a show pony, says Fleshin. If he's Georgian, then you must be over 250 years old, says Fluffy. Well, that's not a nice thing to say, Annoy. It's really hurtful to me. He's not wrong, though, is he? It was a good test, though, at Eden. It was a really competitive test match between the two sides, which was fantastic. Like, no one wanted, well, some people wanted to see a one-sided game, but at the end of the contest, I feel like both sides will still be relatively happy with what they were able to do throughout the 80 minutes. That is going to be another penalty this time. I don't think we're going to see a hugely free-flowing game here throughout these two sides, ladies and gents. One moment, we will go like this. And like that, there we go. But now Australia have got themselves the penalty. 2 against Wales so far, 1 against the Australians, Mark and Luke. So here's Eric J. Yeah, that scrum is well and truly rotating. And that rain is also well and truly pouring at this game. Matt Faisler throws it in, taken by Lukan Salakai-Lotto. Nothing fake about me or my accounts. Just your information sometimes, eh, Matthew? But other than that, you're all right. Is there a record for a rugby goal kick drop goal? Has it been broken yet? So, I don't know what the longest kick of all time is. I think it's like 68 metre. Oh, that's a knock on from Cameron Winnett. It's going to be play on. Gordon sees the corner, and he will get there for the Australians. Another try. She's starting to get a bit one-sided in Melbourne. But against the run of play, just picks it up off the mistake of Cameron Winnett, and they go and score the try for the second time in this contest. Unfortunately, that's just a poor mistake from when it didn't quite get the ground covered. I've heard All Blacks is going to play Fiji in the USA. That is correct. And I reckon Scott Robinson's All Blacks will only get better from here. This is the worst you will see the All Blacks in the next 4 years. They weren't too bad to begin with, says Mikel there. Yeah, it seems like when he went up for the jump, but actually lost his footing in the process, so only glided towards the ball, and then Gordon picks it up off the loose ball and said, yep, that's me. And Wales are now the Windies of rugby, says Eric J. Good finish from Gordon as well. In the slippery conditions, you're going to go well and truly over Buddy Skipper, or Skippy. Sure, boomer that one, says a Blues Nate. That is his second career try for the Wallabies there, Jake Gordon. What is getting a little bit more one-sided now. Yeah, English played okay, but the ABs are the weakest at the moment, says Joe Webber. Yeah, I don't think we can discount how well England have played throughout the two matches. Australians are looking pissed. Are they looking to make up for all their mistakes they've made in the past? Happy for the Aussies as a Samoan, says Mark. And of course, big win for Samoa earlier on up against the Spanish. Do Wales even stand a chance? Not really if this continues. Like, Wales were close to scoring twice. They made little errors, and because of it, Australia have had 2 chances to score, and they've made the most of them. Well, they've had more than 2, but they've at least finished 2 of them. Yeah, we have got Schmidt making another average team look good. Being told to use it here, Jake Gordon. They are 17-0 up over the Welsh at the moment, the Australians. We've seen sides make big comebacks before, but if Australia score again, I think this game is almost over. We're already 26 minutes through, though. I can't believe how quick that's gone. I think we've had very limited stoppages throughout this contest, though, which has probably made it feel like it is going a lot quicker. Sorry, got things on my mind, I guess. I'm reading the Bible. Well, don't read about quickies then. Where in the USA is the match going to be played? San Diego, I think, is where it's going to be. That is going to be the penalty going the way of Wales. Hit that like button. Are you all Southern Hemisphere? And also be sure to hit that subscribe button if you guys are new. We're back for Australia. Their game next week up against Georgia. And also, we are going to be covering the contest that has taken place between Ireland. They're not playing, but the game between South Africa and Portugal next week. We've got Ireland versus South Africa later on today. And we have got there's this last test for our Aussie friends. Hope they get more. They have got one next week up against the Georgians. Wales have got one more up against the Reds next week. It's going to be a club versus international team game. The Blues could probably beat this Wales team, says Annoy. And they do have 3 good halfbacks to pick from, so that's a good start. Thought Wales would be better, says Moa Hunters. They were more competitive in that first match. Seems like this one, they've just been caught slightly off guard for the early stages. They have got the penalty advantage here, though. In fact, that is going to be the try for the Welsh. They get over with the rolling ball, their first of the match, and it looks like it is Dewey Lake who pops up with the ball in hand. That's a way of getting back into the contest. I mentioned how they could not concede again next, and they scored within like 2 minutes. Australia will be disappointed with the way that one has gone, the early penalty. And we have got their Bob Marley and the Whalers. And also Blues could beat England. I don't know about that. Like, looking good up against a Super Rugby team is very different to looking good up against an international side. Like, Wales versus Reds will be a pretty awesome matchup because we will get to see an international team take on a franchise team. So that will be a little bit different than what we are used to seeing. But yeah, it might be a different story if it was the Blues to play rather than the ABs. We all go like this. We all go like that as well. Useless Oos come back for ages and heaven can't wait. Says Eric J. It's first half for the Aussies, so you never know what happens in the second half, says Mark. Exactly right. I always say about it how you can have one first half go one way and then the second half, the opposition can score that same amount of points, if not maybe more. Now that one has gone over. That's going to make the score now 7 points to 17 in favour of the Welsh. Not sure about that, or not sure whereabouts in San Diego. Morne Lagrange says Blues Nate, and yeah, I think Hanoi has blocked me, says Novmum. I don't think he has, because you'd still be able to see him in the participants list because you're a moderator. No, you're not a moderator, are you? You're just a member, sorry. I don't think I don't think he's blocked yet. He didn't even know how to block, I don't think. So I think it's just a glitch. Because I'd assume that you would still see him in the participants. And Blues would be better, this Wallabies team. I can't see him at all. So yeah, I think it's just a glitch. I wouldn't take it personally. I think it's not that deep. I assume that there's also other people in the chat that you probably can't see as well. It's raining here now to come over the city soon, says Joe Webby. And power to the mighty South, says Doctor. I think Spain's second half was a big example today. If Wales lose, I hope they lose in a nice contest. Says Mark, San Diego is in California, so time difference could be a problem for you. Nah, not at all. 2:30 p.m. kickoff for us here in New Zealand rather than it being the normal random hours. So I like it. It's nice. Is that Welsh tie you got on? It is not, unless it is now red and green, but it is blue and light blue. Now, Nola Lucio going to be lining up this kick. Taniela Tupou getting a bit of medical attention to his calf at the moment. That man cannot go a game without an injury. Take it personally, Novmum. Hunt Hanoi down and make him pay. He's the only one I haven't been able to see in the chat for a while now. Says Novmum. Although, like, I assume there are other people who also fall in there. Like, I don't think he's blocked you. I don't think it's in his nature. So I wouldn't get caught up in it. Like, if that makes sense. I don't think it is that. Is that new NPD site where they had a barbecue going. And there was a guy who got us twisted behind his back and escorted off the site. Well, there you go. How's Japan going? It was 7-6 the last time I saw the score. Hello, people crying about YouTube chats. Seek help. Says Annoy there. Now that one is going to be kicked into touch. And it's going to be just short of the halfway line now. And now it's 10-6. So Japan having a little bit more of a lead. What's this World Cup club thing happening? Sounds interesting. Or when's it happening? 2026, I think, or 2027. We have got there 12 a.m. here in Aussie. Go you good thing Southern. Stop reporting your account unless you reported to it at YouTube. Says Blues Night. What's that for? Am I missing things that are happening in the chat? And Sam has said, nah. Oh, sorry, Hanoi said nah to Sam. See, I don't see Sam's message. I don't think. Tell me, Hamish, where did you get that jacket? It looks good on you. I got it a long time ago, so I'm not actually sure where I got it. I think it was at just a shop nearby, clothes shop, you know, that kind of thing. But, yeah. Not sure where I got it. Oh, I'm going to go like this. If it makes you feel better, Mom, I don't think... Okay, I can see Hanoi's messages when I've got all chat turned on, but not when live chat's turned on. Fun fact. So I had to make that little adjustment. But I can see him through StreamYard anyway, because it shows all messages, whether it's someone calling me swear words or not. And time is relative, says Eric J. The time in this game, 32 minutes. And now it's 11:10. Kick to come. Just seeing the replay here. Jeremy Williams on the ground. The time is a flat circle. Yes, I've got live. And yes, I've got live chat on. Says Nov Mum. Okay. I wouldn't worry about it. I don't think it's worth being too concerned about. 40 metres out from the line. Baby Blacks 45, Spain 13. Now that one's going to be kicked in behind, and they will go back for the initial penalty in favour of Wales. They are still down by 13, so I don't think that they can afford to go for 3 here. One who escorted him off the site said there's kids here, should not be here. There's Montix. And Auntie Ty, maternal relative. There's Fluffy. And Samuel, look how bad the All Blacks play now. Says Joke the Work. Another line out throw for the Welsh. Sam said the Blues would beat the Wallabies. I said nah, lol. Says Annoy. Now Christ chins, and I've decided to go to the front there to Tame Plumtree, sorry. He was nailed towards the touchline from Taniela Tupou. Wallabies trying to contest in the breakdown. Kale not able to do so. Still 22 metres out from the line here with 7 minutes to work here for the Welsh. Now Dewey Lake going off to the left-hand side. Big run from Griffin. Little kick attempted from Thomas. That wasn't the decision to make there. And Australia now get the ball back. Gordon, charge down. Ball stays in the field of play. That is some lucky bounce right there for the Welsh. And Rio Dyer now. Australia pretty much stopped chasing that. They thought that it was going to roll straight into touch, forgetting that they've had a massive downpour just before. It's vodka in that bottle. If it was, I'd be on the floor right now. 10 metres out. Fraser McWright looking for the turnover. Wasn't able to get it. Christ Chinza. They have got an injured player here for the Welsh out wide. So I don't believe they'll go that way. What did you make of the All Blacks performance, Hamish? I think that it can still be a lot better. There were plenty of mistakes that were being made by the ABs, but there were improvements from the first game, which is, I guess, a big bonus. Now, Cameron Winnett gets the 10 metres out from the try line, and the penalty goes the way of Wales. Or sorry, goes the way of Australia. Better Wallaby side than last week. They've been a lot more competitive early on in the contest than they were last week. And we have got there, update our scoreboard, please, Mr. and Mrs. Scoreboard. Yeah, at the moment it has not updated. It's updating the time all right, but it hasn't given the Australians that extra 3 points. Better Wallaby side than last week. Oh no, I read that one tonight. It looks like the Australians playing better rugby than New Zealand at the moment. Although you could also look at who they are playing, and that is no disrespect to Wales, but if you look at them compared to like what we have seen from England, you can see that there is a big difference between the way that they've been playing. Oh, the TMO is checking something here, ladies and gents. This will be interesting. Sounds like there is shoulder on head here. So we might be in a situation of a yellow card. Sounded like disrespect. Says Sandor there. Right, what's the go? Yep, that is high from Lukan Salakai-Lotto. Made connection with Archie Griffin's head. He's actually gone off for an HIA now. It's an ugly one. He does duck down, which I think helps Salakai-Lotto a little bit, but that's still a big shot to the side of the head. England are blending in young talent. Why not the All Blacks? They are. Cortez Ratama made his way off the bench. Stephen Petafeta getting the start at fullback. Right, Australia number 5. This sounds like Lukan Salakai-Lotto might make his way from the field now. Yellow card, and it is going to be reviewed. I can't draw that conclusion, says Eric J. England are, oh no, I read that one. And England are far better team than Wales, says Doctor. And South Africa loses to Japan. All Blacks are also the only Tier 1 to not lose to Tier 2. But that will eventually happen. You know, it's like our Eden Park. It's a great record at the moment, 30 years, but eventually someone will get them. And be very interesting to see who it is. What do Wales do here? It looks like they are waiting for the ball to be handed to them. Australia will beat the All Blacks. So here's Manny M. Right, ball is now in the hands of Thomas. What is the plan? Do they want 3 points or do they want the corner? I believe they're going for the corner here. Did you see Alex Bowman, monkey see, monkey do, attempt at drifting at Chicago last week? Nah. I don't even know who Alex Bowman is. And not happy with the All Blacks today, says Manny M. I can tell. You're already saying Australia will beat them. All Blacks lost to Ireland Tier 2. I don't know about Tier 2. Can't see Japan or Samoa doing it anytime soon. You see, it's an interesting one though, isn't it? Because, like, Italy, they count as Tier 1, don't they, the Italians? I honestly think Italy one day might be able to. That's going to be the try for Wales off the rolling maul again. Their key to success is to get that ball in the maul and just throw Dewey Lake at the back of the maul towards the try line. Now it says F's as S's, says Fluffy there. England have improved since Eddie Jones' departure. Scott Razor has a big job on his hands. Italy are Tier 1. So who else other than... So Samoa, Japan, who else is right on the verge of Tier 1/Tier 2? I honestly, like, after Japan beat the Māori All Blacks, they are probably the side that have the most potential. What do you think of New Zealand versus Fiji next weekend? Does Fiji have any chance of causing an upset? I think Fiji's best chance of beating New Zealand will be the fact that New Zealand might make a lot of changes in that game. Out of tier 2, don't ask. And while they still need to practice lots of more defence before the Rugby Championship, because the Springboks and the All Blacks, they'll be watching the same as the Pumas, and they'll go, right, that's how we're going to beat them. Red card for Japan, 27 minutes in the first half. Ireland knocking on the door of being tier 1, maybe, if they get past the quarterfinals. And Thomas gets the kick over, now making the score 20 points to 14. Australia have gone from being up by 20 to now Wales being well and truly back into this game. As this would be the best year for any team to beat the ABs, with Smith, Retallick and Whitelock retiring from ABs, big shoes to fill, says Joe Webby. Japan, it's 13 points to 11 over the Georgians. And of course, Georgia actually going to be playing Australia next week. So that'll be one to watch out for. And Scotland never beat All Blacks 2. Are they tier 2? I think they are tier 1, but they are another side that, who knows? And New Zealand was pretty sloppy during that game, and boy, hope that's not a red, that bloke got super low. Says Distracted Sports. That looked a bit high from Valentini, though. He's got to be careful doing that. Definitely when we've seen there, it is a penalty, though, to the Australians. They might check this one. Both of them are staying down. And everybody wants to rule it, says Fluffy. Oh, yeah, both of them's nose is busted open here. Okay, it was actually the swinging arm that got him. The initial contact from Valentini was fine. And then the arm came around. Sam Derry and Fabian Highland lock-in partners. They will be very handy. Nothing in that, says Tony. And also Scotland 45, USA 7. And Fiji on the edge of tier 1 and 2. Game on, Japan versus Georgia. And also good shout, says Eric J. And keep it all in, says Fluffy. 2 minutes remaining, though, in this first half, ladies and gents. We are currently sitting 3.5 hours away from the start of our live stream for Ireland versus South Africa. Be sure to check that one out. The worst two sides going at it from South and North, says Just. Prefer to let it all hang out, says Eric J. Okay, the TMO, are they checking this? Can they check this? I didn't think it was that bad. Right, the yellow card's going to remain a yellow card. So it's going to remain a yellow card because the player was ducking in. New Zealand needs to play South Africa or Ireland to really know where they stand, says Gold Story Bro. And they will be in the Rugby Championship. That is not too far away from starting up. When my granddad was alive, sometimes he would turn the TV down, have the commentary going from the radio going for the All Blacks. Says Kiwi Gamer. Canada is a horrible side, says Matthew. Now 2 minutes left. Noah Alicio again is going to go for 3 points. This will help the Australians build their lead outside of a 1-try margin. And Scotland was the best, second best side, Six Nations, so tier 1. Says, what if we'll see what's happening with Australia? They can't even stop Wales rolling maul at the Springboks. Very good in rolling mauls. Well, Wales have been very good in rolling mauls as well, so we need to credit them, of course. And as long as Finley is none of the ABs, they will win every game this year. Says Brian, but that kick has gone over. That is now making the score 23 points to 14. We've almost had as many points in this game as we saw between New Zealand and England, and we're only halfway through. Also, just to give myself a slight little pat on the back, my score prediction for New Zealand versus England was 24 points to 16. And in the end, it was 24 points to 17. So I feel like that's about as close as I will get to getting a score prediction correct. But now, counter-ruck coming from the Welsh. They left their feet. Those are both of them. Will be the man penalised. Daniela Tupou throws himself at Tommy Reffel. Still 1 minute left on the clock. Noel Alessio tries to kick in again. It's going to be charged down by Christ-Chinza. I think New Zealand plays in South Africa twice this year. They certainly do, yep. So New Zealand have home games up against Argentina and Australia. And then, yeah, we are going to see New Zealand head to South Africa for those games. This England is going to be a force by 2027, says Manny M. You All Black supporters, back your Aussie cousins Southern, says Moss. And also the All Blacks struggle to put away a young England side, says Manny M. I mean, England, to be fair though, like yes, there were a couple of young players in there, but they still had a lot of experience. You know, you look at Slade in that back line, you look at that 4-pack, you've still got a few of the older guys, definitely in the front row. I think Finn Baxter, he made a good impact throughout the game. They've got a Toje still there. It's the halftime siren sounding. Australia claim it though, and they want one more try before reaching the halftime break. 5 minutes remaining of that yellow card as well. Gordon felt like he was taken out a little bit late. Wallabies are bad, says Brian there, currently sitting 22 metres out from the line. Rob Valentini goes on the short side to Filippo Dungunu. Tackle made by Liam Williams. Oh, he just slapped Valentini out of frustration. Tupou, big run forward. It's only 12 metres out. Leave our bloody marsupials alone. Says Eric Jane. Ratama clearly showed how slow Finley is. Says Joe Webby. Around the side. It'll be James Slipper again. Short pop pass up to Taniela Tupou. And the penalty goes the way of Wales, which I believe the smart choice for them here will be to take the tap and kick that ball out and accept 23 points to 14. I don't think they'll get a huge amount of distance on this kick. But that will more than likely be the end of the first half. Why do some All Black supporters hate the Wallabies, Hamish? I think it's the rivalry for the Bledisloe, but then saying that hasn't really been a rivalry as of late. Like, it's that trans-Tasman competitiveness. It happens in the cricket as well. We see it quite a bit. But, you know, it's one of those ones that there's still that mutual respect, or at least there is in a lot of people's eyes. Like, it's that whole scenario. I've mentioned about it sometimes, how, you know, there's some New Zealanders who are like, oh, I hate Australia. We're gonna beat them badly, just like Australia, bloody Aussies. And then they go, oh, by the way, I'm going on holiday to Sydney next week. And you think to yourself, well, you must not hate them that much if you're going to go give them money. This is nearly a first. Taniela Tupou starting 2 games in a row, says Joe Webby. I think there's never been a stronger side than 2003. England beat New Zealand away and the whole of the Tri Nations in a row. We're 53-3 over South Africa. Says, cool story, bro. If play goes into overtime past 40, does that reduce yellow card time? I think so. I believe. I could be wrong there, though, but I think it does. So if it goes a little bit longer, it actually benefits. Guy who's got the yellow card. Very brave statement to make that. The All Blacks going to win every test this year. You have to remember the Springboks will not be a walk for the All Blacks. Says Monet Lagrange. Dragon smashing the Broncos. And, oh, who is that lady? Says Seller. I'm not sure what lady you're talking about. We've got 2 men and a ranger here in New Zealand at the moment. And also we have got, and netball, says Scott, in terms of what else they are competitive in. I live overseas, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, best mates over here, says Simon. And it should, says Rafflesia in there as well. But second half, not too far away from starting in this contest. Looking through at the benches that are available in this match for the Australians, they have got Josh Nassar, Kailea and Alan Alaratoa, Angus Blythe and Lengy Gleeson as the forward replacements, and then Nick White, Ben Donaldson and also Dylan Peach as the number 23. For Wales, it is Lloyd, Matthias and O'Connor, Hill and Martin, and then Kieran Hardy, Sam Costello, Nick Tompkins to close out the bench for the Welsh. But this game is actually a lot closer than it looked like it was going to be at the start of the game. Definitely when Australia got themselves those 2 early tries, when it will be lucky to get another half at 15, says Flesh in there. And hello, says Bob Smith. Welcome in. Australia is one of the best countries in the world, if not the best. I'm from New Zealand. Beautiful place, good economy, and the people are great. It's like a better version of America. I lived in Sydney. The only problem with Australia, of course, is the creepy crawlies, you know? Alligators, snakes, spiders. Like, if you didn't have them, keen. But yeah, just the random wildlife. As long as you avoid it, though, it's all right, isn't it? Australia's expensive and full of homeless, says Brian. I feel like you could look at anywhere, though, and say, like, certain like places, you look at the stats in terms of the homeless numbers. But Australia, a lot of Kiwis are actually going over there because you can make a lot more money if you're in Australia in certain professions than you can here in New Zealand. And it's not even like a little boost. It's enough to make people get up and go. And I was there 9 years ago, never seen a snake or dangerous spider once. Yeah, so if you're in Sydney, in the middle of Sydney, you're probably not going to end up with too many creepy crawlies. Nick White is reason to dislike Australia, and Wallabies look good. Huge difference with Schmidt. And we still got a lot of work to do, tight and loose end. Speed it up for our ABs. We have then plenty of people who pretended to be homeless, but made 100 to 200 a day being in the CBD. Says Annoy. And also, you want to see homeless and homeless? Come to South Africa, says Sakabula. And there as well, look at your Discord, says Nob Mum. One moment, we'll go like this. One moment. I don't think it's anything personal, Nov Mum, in that regard. I think it's either a misclick or something's happened, or it's just, like I said, a YouTube glitch. I don't think it will be anything too deep. Overall, golf is horror movie over there. I wouldn't look for a ball in the rough for too long. Yeah, I don't think I could play golf in Australia. But, like, standing on a street, I could do that. And didn't you say it's raining in Melbourne? Says I'm on the Grange. I did indeed. Australia's bad for homeless, but it's not America. Says Ruffle Sear, why do they split the teams from the forwards and the backs at the halftime break? Says Ella, normally both groups have different objectives, and then of course they normally come together afterwards to kind of determine what the plan is. There's a homeless Māori guy at my local suburban shop. I gave him some fruit last time. South Africa are going to put Ireland back in their place by 30 points tonight. And I'm from the Pacific and brought a house here in Australia, land of milk and honey. Would you ever visit Perth, Hamish? Probably. I feel like if I went to Perth, though, it would have to be while there is a game of something happening at Optus Stadium, whether that is going to be cricket or rugby or something along those lines. Just got back from Eden Park, good vibes and very cold. Says Dwayne. Yeah, it seemed like the crowd were really getting into it as the game did get closer to the end. Khaleesi was homeless. Says Samuel Mullo, I live in Queensland, full of homeless. Says Brian. But it depends on where you are, though, doesn't it? Like, of course, depending on where you are will depend on how many people you do see. How you doing? Says Ryan, I'm doing very well. Excited for the second half of this contest, as well as the game taking place between Ireland and South Africa. We've seen 6 defenders beaten by the Australians throughout this contest compared to the 2 that we have seen from the Welsh shot, brother Nate. We got away from our people. And Ireland are going to quit rugby after today. We'll be sad for rugby. Says Cool Story Row. I don't think they will. Does not have Skid Rows. Is all good stuff, but not the extremes. Could be good for rugby. Joke. Says Samuel. And also we have got, I missed another one somewhere in there. I live in Sydney, Nate Blues. And on golf courses, it's good to check for snakes, especially if wearing shorts. Yeah, I feel like that would be my worst nightmare. Being on a golf course, looking for a ball, and then you feel a snake just slither up your trouser leg. Not happening. You as Australia too, Nate? I thought I was the only one. Do you remember me? Says Ryan. I do indeed. One of the main reasons I remember you is because of that profile picture that you do have of that thing, the catfish, I think it is. But he should not be allowed to play for Ireland. He's 100% Kiwi. He's not playing in the next game, so you're all good there. And men in Australia off their heads, keeping 6 o'clock news busy. And make the most of it, work, and don't complain. Says Moss. Razor's going to break dance after the AB smash, Springboks 2-0 in South Africa. I feel like he'd be a very brave man to do that. Like, I don't think he did any break dancing after the English series, but that is because he knows that both of those games could have gone either way. Do you like my new profile photo, Hamish? I assume it's a different one of Scott Robinson. I think he's holding a surfboard this time rather than being on one. Is Eden Park difficult to get to? I'm back on game day, says Hanoi. I think Mark did a video a while ago on that, and in terms of being able to get to the game for a blues contest, I'd recommend checking that out if you are interested in terms of how it is to get there and back. I think he mentioned that there is a lot of walking to get there. Yeah, I'm absolutely yoked, says Razor Robinson in there, who's winning the Euros. Couldn't tell you, I haven't actually watched a single game of the Euros yet, which is pretty poor from me, but at the same time, just didn't really get the chance. Plus, with all the overlaps of other games that are taking place, it just felt like I was forever going to be catching up. He's only allowed to break dance if he wins the World Cup, says Brian there. What about the Rugby Championship? Would you say that is enough to win in the World Cup? Or, sorry, to break dance for? Or I guess that probably wouldn't count. Possibly. And European, says Sakabula. And out there as well, brother, I left my Waka Blonde in Otara. And European, says Sakabula there. It's the final, England and Spain. Says Orion, but possession at the moment, 54% in favour of the Australians, 46% for the Australians. You clocked out of rings yet, Hamish? Nah, haven't even played it, haven't even bought it yet. But that game does not look fun. Like, it is if you enjoy it, but like, I can't think of how frustrating it would be to try and get the combinations and everything right. And Aussie refs win. Quite a lot of Euros. And my Aussie wife chased the Māori girls away. Says the Blues, Nate. Australia actually going to host the next Rugby World Cup. That is their plan. They are also going to be hosting the British and Irish Lions Tour in 2025. It's going to be empty stadiums. Oz don't care about union. The good news about Australia, though, is like for Rugby World Cup games, I think there won't be as many empty seats as people think, mainly because of the fact that travelling fans, I feel like Australia is one of those locations that we'll see a lot of supporters of other sides travelling to, if that makes sense. Please, everyone, put the politics aside and let Hamish commentate the game and enjoy your weekend. Bless you, Hamish, and everyone cheer, bros. There's Moss there. But, like, for the World Cup in 2027, I don't think I'll be going because I think I will be commentating the games here more than likely. Of course, still 3 years away. We don't know what's going to happen between now and then, but, you know, like, Australia's not the worst place to have a World Cup. I feel like overall it's pretty nice. The weather should be good. People are Australian, but you can get over that. A lot of English, says Sandor. Selling well, we always support internationals, says Samuel. And knock spots off. And South Africa has invested with the homeless. Very sad reality, says M.M. Morris. And New Zealand will take over Australia during the World Cup with 5 million people, says Chris. Is the business of, let's say, factual things. Because you can't handle real facts. Ireland tier 2, well, okay. So is South Africa and New Zealand. And the team will spank the Lions, says Samuel. And brother, don't say pies. Going crazy here. Would love a good pie, though. Kinky, says Eric. Do you think the Cheetahs will go? Or how do you think the Cheetahs will go? Are we talking about the Curry Cup? I think they are playing not too far away, aren't they, against the Western Province? I do see them maybe getting beaten by Western Province, but I think Rassi released about 7 or so players, didn't he, from the Springbok squad to be able to play for their provinces. So, you know, we'll get to see a few of them in action, hopefully. Second half of this one must be very close to getting underway. Ireland has not made it past the quarterfinal. They're lucky. They have Africa and the URC. They'll eventually be tier 1. Says Sandor, and if the All Blacks plays like that, then I can't see Scott Robinson doing any breakdance, no disrespect to New Zealand. I agree. I feel like well, that's the thing, though. At what stage do you go from not breakdancing to breakdancing? You know, if you dominate a side, I don't think he'll do the breakdance just because that would seem more disrespectful than doing it in a close game, I would think. Tassie could get a Rugby World Cup game this time, says Hanoi. And also, Hamish, any plans on going over to Australia for the World Cup? None at all, no. I think that, like, out of all the World Cups that we have in the next, let's say, 20 years, I would be more likely to go to that one, but I probably won't end up travelling over. No stadium, says Samuel. Or got to win the World Cup to break dance, says Chris Lord. If he retains the bleed, he will dance, says Sandor. And we have also got the Australia head on the penalty points. Wales discipline a problem again, as well as the handling errors and laps in defence, says Ars Robinson. I'm going to try and crack my back. Oh, there we go. Neither is Wales and Scotland. You don't make up the rules on what a tier 1 nation is. It's not you make a final or semi. And you tier, that's stupid, Zayli. Or Zaylahi. Hopefully I've said that correctly. Do you think England will retain the Ashes? It's a hard one, to be honest. I don't know why I yelled that, but it's going to be very interesting. Because they are in the scenario of Australia, like, they are good at the moment. But I think that Ashes series is going to be very entertaining. I think it's not too far away. I think is it next year that the Ashes is going to be taking place? You should be a commentator on the live broadcast. Says Raffle Sear, thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. Tell me, Hamish, who was the best dancer in your family, says Mornay. I don't think I've seen any of my family dance. Not enough to be able to judge them for it anyway, so I just go none of us rather than all of us. We'll just go none. Only Artie, Bowden, and possibly Geordie were the only ABs talked about in 40 years. A very average side by AB standards, says Joe Webby. And Allgood's brother, Sydney, can't cook pies for Anzacs, says Doctor. Is France actually bringing their B team to tour New Zealand next year? Let's cancel that tour and bring Ireland back over instead. Yeah, I'm not sure what the goal is with the French side at the moment in terms of what their plans are going to be. We're very far away. We don't even know if Galtier will still be in charge of them at that point. It was so good to see Jimmy Anderson's last game at Lord. Sam Kane will be talked about forever, says Sandor. And that's the thing, like, as much stick as Ian Foster got right, when you think about All Blacks coaches, he is going to be one that does get a lot of mention throughout the next 20 years or so. You must be proud of the All Blacks. They could have done better. I was pretty impressed with the English overall throughout the series. I felt like they wanted it more, but unfortunately just couldn't quite get the job done. And Tom Wright can dance, says Samuel in halftime, Georgia 18, Japan 13. Erasmus still the water boy? He is not, no, he is now in the coaching box. Most of the French team be in prison by then. Says Glovey, he looks so fine. Like he's just come from confirmation, you gotta love it. Says Dakota. And also has its history, I should say, from Mr. Orlin. But second half getting very close, ladies and gentlemen, to getting underway. Did 3 Barretts play today? Amazing family, says Brian. And how long do you think it will take for Wales to get close to their 2012 Grand Slam level? I think it will be a while. I don't think it will be under Warren Gatland. But then I also don't know if it will be under the next coach or the next one after that either. They're a young side at the moment with not a lot of experience. Losing Dan Bigger, losing Alwyn Jones. Those kind of players do hurt you big time when they do decide to retire. That's good the All Blacks is. Still win and get heavily criticised. We don't want to just win. We want to hammer everyone. And also we have got their Go You Good Thing. Love you, brother. Says Moss. And I won't be anytime soon, to be honest, says Dakota. Now second half just about to start here in this matchup. Have you ever grown a mullet? I have not. And I don't think I will, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know any of these guys really, says Razor Robinson. But it's kicked off by the Australians. Second half back underway now, ladies and gents. It's going to be Wales in position just on their 22. I think Ivan Storm should be here with an NRL update. Do you live with family, Hamish, or rent your own place? I do live with family, yes. Much better in terms of work-wise. Now Jake Gordon going off to the left-hand side. Fraser McRae off to Lolosio as well to get it away to Jeremy Williams. It does seem like Australia want to start the second half the same way that they started the first. Nice run from Josh Fluke, who we didn't really see throughout that first half. Losing so many veteran players didn't help, but it happens to every team eventually. Here's Apex. But I think the big thing and the big difference for Wales was normally when you lose your veteran players, you have backups, you have the next generation, those guys around 30 years of age who are going to be there for your next World Cup. For Wales, they lost pretty much everything in one go. We have got there in 20 years' time, people will talk about Rassi like they talk about another South African Gordon Murray and his way he changed the game. Does your family criticise your sleep schedule? What time do you wake up today? Says Matthew. So today I ended up waking up at 2 p.m. Went to sleep at about 6:30 or 7 a.m. yesterday. So, like, I am nocturnal at times, but then during the week I am back to actual hours because I have to get up and do work and whatnot. And hopefully Dungunu be tackled again on the almost 40-metre line. My mum always criticises me when I stay up too long, like 10:30 p.m. I would recommend getting a good night's sleep, though. Like, don't do what I do is the best advice I can give everyone in terms of sleep schedules. That's just the best advice. Just don't do what I do. We're staying up all night doing these games. We're going to sleep for 3 hours. Then we're going out for lunch and then staying up for the rest of the next night to cover more games of rugby. Rassi is trashed. He's lucky the ref gave AB's red card and we missed 2 kicks. Or he'd be the coach that got beaten by 14. Stop blowing Coke. So there you have a day job as well? I do, yes. Although this one also takes about full time in terms of the amount of hours that we put in alongside the other one. Cricket World Cup loss against India was sad. I thought we had it in the bag, says Ryan. They wicket a class and I think turned it around for the South Africans in that one. But 3 minutes in, Jake Gordon now going for a box kick here. Nicely taken. Oh, Cameron winning. He's done it again, Dalguni. That is 2 weeks in a row that he has tackled a man in the air. Do you follow tennis Kiwis? Or Kiwi? I do not, no. Not really. I know that Wimbledon's almost finished, but I couldn't tell you who's in it. Do you work on farm age? I do not know. Do you get burned out? Yeah. 100%. We're still burnt out from the Rugby World Cup, but I haven't recovered from that in terms of sleep schedule or anything. Like I said the other day, I haven't had a full 8 hours sleep since that Rugby World Cup because we destroyed our sleep schedule and now I can't sleep enough, like during the night. Nicely stolen by Charlie Cale. And they kick it downfield now. The Australians supporting the Aussies from Wales. Speaking of sleeping, how did your sleep go throughout the week? Poor. Really poor, but that's all right. I was going to say you might move out, Dakota, how he criticises. And Hamish hardworking, I don't know how he's doing. How are you in your auntie's bed? I am not, that I know of. Now, Matt Faisler, another line-out throw here for the Aussies. Kiwi Blue tastes rough. It's just tap water, though, so like it's not that bad. And thanks, Hamish, you're a bloody legend. Now that one's going to be kicked in behind. Now, picked up by Callaway. 5 metres from his try line. Now, looks like Jake Gordon will once again go for the kick downfield. I'm sure you're excited for Rugby World Cup 2027 in Australia. I am excited to see how the sides are matching up at that point. 11 p.m. there now. We stay up for South Africa versus Ireland. We certainly will, and we won't just stay up for it. We are also doing an hour of build-up for that matchup where we're looking through all the stats from last week, what is to come for those sides, their teams, everything along those lines. So if you are new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button as we're on the road to 50,000. South Africa to complete the treble in 2027. Says Sandor. And thanks, Hamish, your bloody legend. Says Moss, a nice Hamish. Says Blues, Nate. Now Christ Chinza claims the line out for the Welsh. This is where they've been the most dangerous and where both of their tries have come from, that rolling maul. Actually, New Zealand did very well in Wimbledon this year. And the first New Zealander in Wimbledon quarters. So did she win that one, Dakota? I know that there were talks about how she was doing well. But yeah, I didn't hear whether or not she won or whether she's even had that match as of yet. Now, do we like up to the 22 here? Australia need to make sure they defend well. Tommy Reffel, tackled by Lukan Salakailoto as well as Rob Valentini. Now across to the left-hand side, Thomas gets it away to Rio Dyer. That is a big driving tackle coming in from James Slipper. What's the Springboks lineup? We will be looking through it, but no changes from what they had last week. Whole team is the same. Quarterfinal exit for Lulu, says Dakota there, but still very impressive to make it through to the quarterfinals of Wimbledon. Bevan going back across now to Ben Thomas. Short ball that almost through was Plumtree. I almost called him Aaron Wainwright. Of course, he is not playing for this game. Short side, quick hands. Camera Winnick smashed by Josh Fluke. Now off to the left. Little pop pass up again. Gets it to Dewey Lake, who almost lost his pants in the process. Are the ABs incomparable? Or incapable of rolling mauls these days, says Joe Weeby? They don't seem to go to them, but throughout that English series, it was always going to be that England were going to be competitive. That is a great run forward. Just short for both them. But Wales on the verge of another. Tame Basham smashes his head down. In fact, it's Tame Plumtree that time. Now quick and short ball to Liam Williams. And they will score again here, the Welsh. That almost looked like it could have been a turnover. Liam Williams, he did the celebration of sucking his thumb. I can't remember the logic behind that or the reasoning behind it because it's been so long since I've seen that man actually score a try for Wales. Just looked up the World Rugby rankings. New Zealand moved to second even though same points as Ireland. Says Glenn, that is true, yeah. So they are at 2 at the moment. If Ireland win their game, they will go back up to 2nd. If South Africa win, then Ireland will drop, or they will stay in 3rd place. In fact, I think maybe even France would possibly overtake them, or they'd be quite close to it anyway. We have the heads over. Says Matthew Lang. And well done, Wales, says Arson. Throwback to when Wales were very good. Okay, he did the celebration. He sucked his thumb. He blew the kiss. So that might be a reference to a baby of some sort. I would assume his, rather than just a random baby. And while the Welsh are well and truly back in it, our Wallabies are still 1 short. Kick has gone over. And there as well. So that is going to make the score 21 points to 23. It is heating up to be quite an entertaining second half between these two sides. Yeah, it's a nice try from Liam Williams. He's got his eyes on someone anyway in the stands that he was blowing the kiss to. No Wales in England, Wales in the sea, says Spiderbeck. The Aunties on a win tonight. Says Sandor, nicely taken by Wales, just inside of their 22. How long have you been off the thumb, Hamish? Bet you were going hard at college. Off the thumb. What does off the thumb mean? Off the thumb. Bet you were going hard at college. I don't know what you mean by either part of that, Zaley. And nice to see Wales go through the phases consistently without error. If they can keep that up, they will have improved so much as a team. And also, we got their Wales was very good win. Says Doctor, it was a little while ago, but we got to remember they had that grand slam. That is nice from the Welsh defence, making the tackle on Callaway, now slipper. Tackle by Dewey Lake, who has already got himself 2 tries in this game. Not Alessio. Offloaded to Tom Wright. Do you ever deal with worries or anxiety? Says Matthew Lang, I always worry about what you're going to say next, Matthew, because I know that one day it's going to be something extremely unhinged and we'll have to decide whether or not it's worth the time out or not. Yeah, just being silly, thumbsucker. Sorry, yeah, I didn't get that one, did I? My bad. I thought that you were being in, when you said it, right, had been off the thumb. I thought that was some sort of, reference to something else. But no, I was never much of a thumb sucker myself because I wash my hands too often, just because I'd be like, ooh, saliva, wash hands. Aussie says Moss, never suck it after someone's taken someone's temperature, says Sandor. And personally, I think England is winning the next Rugby World Cup, says Ryan. Right, looks like there's a bit of push and shove here. Between the sides, look like Dave Jenkins right in the middle of it. Again, both of them already has great-grandchildren, I guess, maybe even great-great-grandchildren. Says Dakota, oi, oi, oi. Says Spider-Mick. Warriors versus the All Blacks, who wins, playing League. I'd like to think if they're playing League, the Warriors would win, because that is their specialty. But then saying that, that is the Warriors rather than the New Zealand Kiwis. So you're going with a club level or a franchise level compared to the international level. So I think the Warriors would still win, though. In that case, just from experience that they have. Right, I think we're getting a TMO decision here. Going upstairs to check whether or not there was some dirty play going on. Come on, Australia, says Roz. Right, sounds like Charlie Cale. And then Lukan Salakai Lotto might have also been involved. I don't know, man. I think the All Blacks could put up a good go for sure, says Ailey. You were probably sucking thumbs at an age you can't remember anymore, says Dakota. Now the breakdown. Here we go. So Charlie Cale was taken out by Liam Williams. Oh, he then hits him in the face. And then Lukan Salakai Lotto gets rid of him. He bumps him from behind. I think that Liam Williams is in a bit of trouble here. Because Charlie Cale, I think, took a headbutt from Liam Williams. Or not a headbutt, sorry, but a slap to the head. Yeah, so Liam Williams hits Charlie Cale in the face. Lukan Salakaia-Lotto throws Liam Williams for hitting his teammate in the face. And it sounds like Lukan Salakaia-Lotto is going to be the man who's penalised for this. Right, there's a first offence here. This seems really badly handled here, but slap to the head of foreplay. Depends what head it's slapping. New Zealand versus South Africa, who wins play in league? Probably New Zealand, just because South Africa don't really have a rugby league team, but, you know. Oh, I think they wanted to check if there was a player in the air taken out. Yeah, it's going to be the penalty in favour of the Australians. What happened to the North Harbour rugby team? I didn't hear of them anymore. They're going to be playing in the Bunnings NBC. And that's coming up soon. No way Wales penalty, says Stephen. But yeah, it is an Australian penalty. I think that is for originally 12 joining the breakdown wrong. Okay, the Australians are happy. They've just said that the referee's doing that good of a job by himself, keeping the pace of the game going, that the commentators feel they shouldn't even need to use the TMO. They'll just let him do it all. Of course, if that one was against Australia, that would have been a different statement coming from the commentator. He would have said, get this referee off the field as quickly as possible. Should be a yellow card for Williams. There's Frank Smith, but now breaking off the side. They're going to be only 10 metres out from the try line here. And Wales have managed to get the turnover, although there was a knock-on. So it will be once again the scrum for the Australians. The South Africa Rugby League team is ranked 87th. So here's Doctor. Ensure the refs see foreplay. And also NZ from Sandor. England won Cricket 2020 World Cup in Australia in 2022. They like it down under. Says Dakota, and Australia have to be careful or else they will lose this match. More poor discipline from Wales. Probably cost us the game. Says us. We know South Africa will get a black eye playing rugby league, right? Says Moss. And also, we have got their box could have a top rugby league team. Says Hanoi. It's true, like, if they committed to league, I feel like they have got the build and they've got the skill that they could make a dangerous side. It's just whether or not they ever decide that they want to commit to it. Because we've got to remember that is a lot of extra funding that they probably don't want to allocate. And I think, I could be wrong in this, but I remember a while ago there was something about the fact that the Springboks rugby side as a whole were in debt. I can't remember how much it was, but it was some quite large number. I'm going to quickly look it up, just because I don't want people to think I'm just bad-mouthing. Small deficit, a major achievement, say South Africa Rugby. Oh, lost ball from Matt Faisler. Annual revenue is expended. Oh, God, this is all too fancy. So, 7% decrease for the South Africans in terms of costs or profit for the year, I think it was. Those numbers are fancy. I don't want to read all those. They seem like they're an essay. I thought South Africa Rugby was loaded with cash. Says Hanoi. They already got rugby fields, already got stadiums, should be all go. Yeah, although it's just getting a base, isn't it, for a competition started that people do want to watch. That's going to be close for Matt Faisler again, breaking off here because of the URC or something. Says Kurt 800. Now, too far away. That is close, and they are over again. Wales take the lead up against the Australians. Who would have seen that coming? Wait a minute. No, sorry. Australia scored. I'm on drugs. But they have conceded here. The Welsh. I don't know why I said Wales had scored a try there. My brain was in fast forward, but in the wrong direction. But Australia's scoring. Did you ever collaborate with Gareth Mason back in the day? Not quite. We were in talks of doing something. He came into a live stream one time, like in the chat, and I think we've been in a few of his way back in the day, but in terms of an actual video, we never got the honour of doing one with him, unfortunately. Rio Dyer to score, says Stephen. Oh no, Stuart. Wales take the lead. Yeah, I got a bit excited there. That's my bad. I said that Wales had scored, but it was actually Australia who managed to score the try. Low noise says, you're never going to drop it, are you, Nov Mum? You're going to... It's like a Scooby-Doo situation now. You're trying to investigate it. Japan XV played Rugby Georgia. And this Japan team against Georgia. Says Blues Nate. Australia have been punching above their weight for too long, and still they sign players like Sydney Roosters NRL star Joseph Suaalii. That one is missed. So the lead for Australia still remains at 7 points. Damn, got my hopes up. I do apologise for that. I don't know why, but my brain straight away, when he bundled over, I saw a Welsh player lying down, so I was like, yeah, Wales. They scored, but they didn't. I mean, that home nation bias day, Amy. That's Scottish, says Doctor. I guess they just print the money in their cellars. Says Dakota, but it's kicked off now by Wales. I think new fake accounts are messaging me, says Annoy. Yep, you're right. You're sleep deprived, says Brian. That is also true, so I feel like I can slightly be led away with it. Decent clearance from Nolalesio. Joe Schmidt having a conversation with, I assume, the ones down on the side. You vlog. It's not obvious at all, is it? Now 40 metres out. Southern are tough, says Moss, and got to give it to Australian Rugby League, though. True goats of Rugby League. And what chances you making with the ABs against Fiji? I think that the All Blacks, if they make a lot of changes, we will see Fiji a little bit closer than some are anticipating, and the All Blacks cannot underestimate what this Fijian side can do. Are you commentating on the South African and Argentina games too? We are doing South Africa versus Ireland, but we aren't doing France-Argentina. It is a game that we will be missing. Blame the sleep patterns or change truck, says Scott David George. And Zoinks says Fluffy there. 2008 was the best Rugby League World Cup. It's alrighty, H. Chad has told us it was Aussie scoring, says Glenn Woods. Now, the Welsh are in position. Duff Jenkins. Back across now, Thomas. Going across to James Botham. Rio Dyer, quick hands out to Liam Williams. It's going to be charged down, and Tommy Reffel manages to claim it. I don't think I've seen a game with so many charged down kicks as this one that we are seeing between them. Are you having a party packer to stay up late? Nah, just a lot of water, I would say. We've already been through about a bottle and a half of these. We're going to have another, probably one or two by the end now. Nice run forward from Watkin. It's just 7 metres out. Anytime that Wales concede, they always look to get that try back as soon as possible. Smitch the fake. He never played rugby. He's an imposter, says Spider Mick. Now Gareth Thomas tackled by Fraser McWright. Now 5 metres out. Couple nose beers, says Justin. A bit closer there for Dewey Lake. Australia have to make sure that they don't concede a penalty here. And while Australia still plays rugby, says Luke, and that is the penalty to the Australians. Hamish, what are your thoughts on Invercargill? It's a place in New Zealand. That's about all I know. What's your favourite beer, Hamish? Is it Spates, lol? Are you a Shandy's boy? I do not consume a lot of beer. But that's only because, like, normally the most logical time to have it, if you were going to have it, would be the weekends. But then we stream all weekends, so... Nah, I haven't had any alcohol in a long... That sounded dodgy. I was going to say alcohol, but I mixed it up, and then it sounded worse than just saying alcohol. So I won't say that again. My home city. Says Raffles there. And damn, I'm getting titly. Too much JB. What is your thoughts of Inverness, Caledonia, and Thistle? Couldn't tell you. What time is South Africa playing? They are going to be playing in around 4 hours' time. In fact, less than 4 hours. That's a big run from Ballatini up to the halfway line. Now Gordon goes across Lukan Salakai. Lotto gets it away to Fluke, who's wrestled down, gets his offload to Tom Wright. Wanted the line break. Almost got it. Oh, knock on from Charlie Cale. Was looking up at Tommy Reffel coming at him rather than looking at that ball to be able to catch it. We got a double blow of the whistle here by the sounds of it, and there are going to be some substitutions. Currently 21 minutes through in this match at the moment. Joe Schmidt deciding it is time to make some subs, and unfortunately I believe Charlie Cale is one of those subs who are going to be made. Cale was scared of the Welsh missile. Just got home after watching the AB's game. See, it's Badza. Away is the U in though through thought. And tough always pronounced differently. Says Dakota, it depends on the letters that are with it. If that makes sense. Just like grammar in general. It's weird though. I wouldn't ask me how to spell things. A good idea, give alcohol a miss, says Bruce. And hopefully Australia and Argentina bring something to the next rugby championship. Warriors should knock Ireland out of the quarter-final, says Sandor. But now, another scrum about to take place. We see Kai Lear is on there for the Australians. I think Wales will try and get as much out of the starting front row as they physically can. Archie Griffin, he took a big shot earlier on. I think he actually went off for an HIA. Cooked me some eggs. Says Sino, tell you what, I wouldn't mind some eggs myself. To be honest, I'm going out for lunch tomorrow. I'm going to see whether or not they have the all-day breakfast, which would involve eggs. So I've got my fingers crossed. Is it like Chinese? You have to know it before you can pronounce it. Doesn't work as your normal alphabetical language. That's going to be another penalty going the way of the Welsh. And also we have Gadea. What was that BS about South Africa before the World Cup, not wanting to undergo drug testing? They weren't gonna represent South Africa. Oh yeah, it was a bit of a interesting scenario. Like everything worked out in the end, that it was all fine. Very exciting rugby so far, and more to come, says Nitro. And Ireland didn't really play sport. And also, I hate Aussies, says Val. What about them do you hate, Val, out of curiosity? Is it their accent? Is it their faces? Do you speak a Māori language? Not a huge amount, but I know a couple sentences. What are your thoughts on the relegation tournament for the Six Nations to include teams like Georgia? I don't think they'll do it, just because Italy have got quite a bit of stock in the competition, if that makes sense, in terms of the ones who are running it, in terms of the investors of the competition as well, I believe. So I don't think they would ever agree to it. They're very on the roids, that's why. No, but they passed all their tests, so they're all good. Faisler has gone off the field for Nasser. Now, that's going to be nicely cleaned up there. What is I love you in Māori? I don't actually know. I know how to say high five, just kidding. But, no, I love you. I love the Aussie accent, says Apex. And every time I join the chat for the first time, it does work, says Stefan. And that is going to be another penalty, this time going the way of Australia. Wales have almost been penalised out of this game. Our Aussies are inbred criminals living on a desert island, says Luke. Well, that's quite the description, isn't it? England played well in both games, really made the ABs dig very deep. And how good was Bodie when he came on, and imagine if he got that chip kick. And Aroha something. And there must have been a reason for it. Delayed test so they would pass was dodgy. I mean, yeah, but it was only delayed by like a week or two. So I don't think that would be enough time to get out of the system if there was anything, which I don't think there was. Yeah, well defended again by the Wallabies. Aussie should stick to rugby league. So the reason you hate Australia is because they play rugby union. But you just want them to play league. Now it's going to be thrown in. Gordon is onto the field, or off the field, sorry, and Nick White has now made his way on. Now that's heaps of time for that stuff to clear. That's going to be a good run from Valentini. Oh, he's flattened one of the Welsh players. It was Liam Williams in the end. He's getting the tap on the back there. Is there a large presence of mongrel mob in your town? Nah. I don't know. That's heaps of time. And ball discipline always seems to cost us. It's so frustrating. Come on, chat. 69 likes to go. Hit it. Don't break it. Just taps at people. And AFL more popular in the league, and they are too good at swimming, says Raffles there. Well, we're going to have to swim throughout the second half if the rain had continued like it did in the first. Luckily, it looks like it has dried up a little bit more than what we saw. We're really on the field at the moment on the halfway line, and it is a Welsh line out. Dewey Lake throws in. It's going to be claimed by the Welsh. They wanted the turnover and the breakdown for Alanalatoa, but wasn't able to quite get it. Actually, they are pretty dominant in Aussie rules. Last time I checked, they won all the games. says Dakota. Now rolling this one back. The replacement 21 here, Kieran Hardy. I got Grandpa Nick, says Val. Oh, good contest in the air. And it's going to be on the side of the Australians again. A lot of the 50-50 seems to be going the way of the Aussies in this matchup, which of course is great news for them. Now, rolling it back, it's going to be Nick White. It's gone up. Chasing after this one, Filippo Daungunu. Cameron Winnett tackled on the halfway line. Looks like Kieran Hardy. Do you have physical proof or evidence that the Springboks used illegal substance? They do not know. So that's one of those ones that like anyone can say things in chat, but like there's no reasoning behind it. Oh, that's a knock on from Noah Ladesio. How many dates tonight, Nov Mum? Says Sandor, and congratulations, All Blacks win against England at Auckland. I have seen it in person with my own eyes. Pepper meat is steroids, says Kurt. It's going to be the scrum feed now for the Welsh. Just a little bit too much on that. Marika Vunibaka versus Tanu Manga in a UFC fight. Who wins? When are they doing it? Is the big question. We have no dates tonight. I didn't want the cheap ones, not as nice. And All Blacks all day, says Moss. And let's go the Aussie, says John Smith. Or John Smith, I should say. I don't know how I messed that up so badly. I think I was about to say Joe Schmidt. Warren Gatland does not look happy with his Welsh side at the moment. Still 15 minutes remaining for Shade. Congrats to me. To Hammy, not the only Kiwi. And Boxer Supreme, Aussies are so bad, says Val. Of course, South Africa going to be playing a little bit later on tonight. We are going to be covering that game on the channel. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be talking about it. They didn't do stuff like saying they didn't want to test. Delaying it by a week. What a bunch of cheating dogs. Now, where are we on the field? It is a Welsh scrum, but we've got to reset about 30 metres out at the moment. Oh. Keep below the body. See the referee there. Keep below the body. I think by that he just means stay low. I have seen the actual evidence in person, mate. I guess the Royd guy says Blues 30 metres from the Welsh line, 30 metres from the Australian line at the moment. And Wales have got possession. You think Japan can win with 14 men? It's going to be tricky for them. I personally know South Africans that love being on the juice, says Zali in there. I mean, I know New Zealanders who like taking steroids, but it doesn't mean the whole population is on them, you know? Now going off to the left-hand side. Both firm. That's obstruction there. There's a miscommunication. Watkin was flying through, waiting for the pass and never really got it. They're guilty then. An Aussie try, says Chris. And also, what time's Island Bot game? It is going to be kicking off in 3.5 hours, but we are starting in 2.5 hours. Your tie not too big, says Val. Unfortunately, that is the size of the tie. I thought it as well, though, before I started, and I was thinking, I wonder if a random guy called Val was going to criticize my tie size. And then I decided I didn't care. That's a great bit of work from Filippo Daungunu. And the try for the Australians off the interception. Liam Williams makes the mistake. And Filippo Daungunu now gets himself the second superb penalty to Australia, says Sino. And the try says a Matthew Lambert. That is a massive error from the Welsh. They did so well to keep the ball in the field of play, but Filippo Daungunu also doing well to chase that one. Do you know every player from every team off the top of your head? I wouldn't say every player, but we're getting that way. 2023 title should be stripped from Springboks, says Matthew. Spur Baby, says Sino. And Southern All Day, says Moss. And carry on, Answer Hamish, says the Blues Nate there. And Kangaroos Baby, sweet pickup. Yeah, really nicely done by Filippo Daungunu. And a lack of awareness from the Welsh. Liam Williams, like I mentioned, he did all the hard work of keeping the ball in the field of play just to have his teammates not worry about getting that back. We have got the I've heard it all. Bring evidence to back your claim, says Nitro. And GG's Australia, probably another frustrating loss. And great try, says Frank. And now the score 33 points to 21 and not a lot of time remaining in this match, which is a bonus for the Australians as the rain looks like it is starting to fall again here. Game over, says Sino. Although Lolosio missing that kick, which I believe now puts us in a position of maybe, 2 converted tries for the Welsh. They scored them in the first half relatively quickly, one after the other. Could be the case here as well. And yes, boy, go Australia. He's just jealous of your massive tie, says Gary. And I mean, Juice. And Oz still as bad as they might be. I cannot see any time in the future where teams like Georgia or Romania will be favourites against them, says Dakota. It was like Colby's try last week, says Anoit. Yeah, pretty similar in terms of player does all the hard work of keeping the ball in, whereas if they had just let it go out, it actually wouldn't have been as costly. But you never know. You got to take those risks sometimes. 3 points needed, says Sino. Looks like they are going to go for the box kick now. And 16-18 to Georgia. Says no, mum, that ball's going to be slapped back by Tom Wright. Cleaned up by Josh Fluke. Now 22 metres out from their own line. Game over. Says cool story, bro. And a wild Wales try. Epic try. Says Chris there. And what is this like? 7th loss in a row for Wales or something? That is true. And your tie is very beefy. Thank you very much. And Australia is now pushing his cousin, the All Blacks, to the 2nd spot. Oh, another charge down. We've had a lot of them throughout this game. Just is pronounced Just, says Van der Veer. That's close, and that is the try now for Wales. They keep on firing back. Every time that the Australians build a lead, Wales fire pretty much instantly, and that is going to be Rio Dyer. Just a mistake from Nick White going for the kick, and behind it was charged down by Christchinza. And then from there, cleaned up by Nick Tompkins, who gets a beautiful offload. And then they go short side. Missed tackle from Noah Lolesio. And it's the try for the Welsh. Let's go Southern Hemisphere, says John Smith in there. The Welsh Lomu got steamrolled, or just steamrolled the Aussies. And Wales still in this entire Springboks team. And prune juice. And Wales still looking good. Yeah, that's the thing. They've been competitive throughout this contest. As one-sided as it seemed like it was going to be at times, we've got to remember the Australians were about 17-0 up, maybe even 20-0 up, and now they find themselves in the position of still being within a converted try of a draw. Hopefully this kick will be over, says Monet Lagrange. We're about to see it now, though. Can Sam Costello get it over? He certainly can. And Wales are now within the 7. And they are $7 underdogs at the moment. Surely that's wrong. Oh no, they've gone down now. They've gone down to $6 underdogs to be able to go on and win this game. But they are within 7. Oh, now they're down to $5.50. I feel like everyone's chucking money on them at this point. Every game in the Summer Internationals has been, or every game in the Summer Internationals has been brilliant. Says Easy Ollie. Only Argentinians perform badly. Yeah, unfortunately, Argentina just didn't really perform to the same level as a lot of people anticipated that they would. And we have got the Southern Hemisphere has had its time like the dinosaurs. Says cool story, bro. In FFS Wallabies. Says Sino there. Kicking high as Kieran Hardy. That one has not been charged down by the Australians, and it's going to be slapped back to Alan Alatoa. Wasn't quite impactful enough to get that ball back. Great kick, says Simon Barnes, and now they're on the halfway line. Sam Costello attempting the 50-22, and that one is just going to pull up in the in-goal area. But Wales is the worst Six Nations team, so if Australia lose to them, it won't look good for Australia. Says Ruffle Sand, didn't I say he would score? Says Stuart, and how much time left? Still only 8 minutes remaining in this contest. Wales are down by 5. Australia have now got their goal line dropout to try and get them down the field. Australia right now will be fighting relegation in Six Nations, that is for sure, says Dakota. I want Australia to win, but I do feel bad for Wales. And Wales the new Australia, says Simon. Well, they're in a tough patch. They got a young side I always go back on, but at the end of the day, they can only really go up from here, can't they? Kieran Hardy. Across to Tommy Reffel, who once again has had an 80-minute performance here. Are you going to play cricket next season? I believe so. I hope to, anyway, as long as I don't have any sort of injury or anything. I assume you are as well, Lyndon. So I have all those games that I've got the footage for that I still need to edit. I've been very slack with it, but as soon as rugby started up, I kind of ran out of time, sadly. But we will try and get them out before, hopefully, next season. Because we've got about 10 or 15 games that we will be able to upload. Japan are 16 and Georgia are 18. Says Richard there. Do you follow hurling? I do not know. Yeah, I'll be playing, says Lyndon. Are you playing third grade or second grade? I assume third grade again, but see, that's the thing. I'm not sure if I'm going to second grade next year or whether I'm still in possibly third. That is going to be kicked downfield, and it finds touch again for the Welsh. Very nicely done. We have got there, geez, those rugby rankings are hard to understand. Aussie dropped back to 9th, Italy up to 8th. Says Glenn Woods. Yeah, so it's all based off who you're playing. But yeah, Italy should have dropped a bit more, I would have thought, after losing to Samoa. Time on the clock at the moment. It is 6 minutes remaining between these two sides. Thrown in and slapped away by Lange Gleeson. Daungunu tries to sit down the defence of Sam Costello, but he is stopped. I knew you were a cricketer, said that last week. Says Sandor. Yeah, I think I'm in third still. Says Lyndon. And there as well. So you'll probably play against quite a few of the ones that you played last year. But I'm not sure which grade I'm playing in just yet. Where's fan base? Depends on who you ask. I bet you bowl a bit of leg break. It's a fair shout. It's going to be the Wallabies ball now. And hey, any other juice I might have forgotten, says Doctor. I think you've gone through most of them, haven't you? Australia, that line-out steal from Lange Gleeson to get ahead of Chinza and lagging, not laughing. I was like, this dumb couldn't keep it going. Says Zaylee in there. And also, I can pick them, mate. Says Sandor and Simpson. Says Eric J. Simpson? But now, it's going to be available for the Australians again on the halfway line. Kai Lear, rush defence from Reffel, takes him down. Nick White going for the territory gain. Kick down into the Welsh 22. Of course, Australia are only up at the moment by 5 points. A try here and a conversion would give the Welsh the win. There's going to be the penalty to Australia, though, and this could be the game. Because this is 40 metres out. Oh, Wright has taken it quickly. That is either the best decision Australia have made in this game or the absolute worst, because they could have taken the 3 and they would have been ahead by 8, but now they've got space. Lukan Salakaia-Lotto out to Daungunu. He's only 5 metres out, but he is going to be stopped again by the by the Welsh defence. Yeah, and all I know is second grade are pretty good. Says Lyndon there, but they will go back for the original penalty. Oh, they got another penalty advantage. So this one is an easier kick now. So that is one massive bonus that they have got. We have got there, yes, I know they did, says Richard. And Vamos Wales, says Dakota. And plenty of time for Donaldson to butcher this lead, says Andre. And Lomu would have scored from Daungunu's position, says, and oh yeah, he almost seemed a little bit hesitant, Filipa Daungunu, in the way that he ran at the line. Maybe that is just because of the 80 minutes that he has already played. And Japan will beat Wales and the Wallabies, says Ryan. I mean, we get to see Georgia play the Wallabies next week. So that is a bit of a bonus. We also get to see Wales play the Reds. And slow game for Japan. And kick 3 points, says Sino there. And your bloody legend brother, says Moss. Thank you very much, mate, for being here, of course. How much would you pay to watch Rassi versus Eddie Jones in a boxing match? I would probably pay at least $50 to watch that. But I feel like you've got to have a good card as well with a few union players. Maro Atoje versus Eben Etzebeth in a boxing fight, I feel like would be quite entertaining. You could go someone like a Stephen Kitsoff versus... Who would you have Stephen Kitsoff have a boxing match with? Or Franz Malhalba versus Yui Antonio. That is one I would watch, even though it may only go for a few seconds before they gas out. But still be entertaining. And Wales versus Reds. Next week you stream in Amish. We are hoping to, if they're showing it here in New Zealand. What's the score? Amish just joined. Is this the current score? It's not updated. So currently it is 36-28. Australia just got the 3 points. Graham Henry versus Gatland. There's, say, 20 minutes left of the Japan versus Georgia game. Says Richard, Nick White has been told to use it. If Wales want a chance of winning, they have to make sure that they score very soon. Now, Liam Williams goes off to Costello. He has been crunched in the tackle by the Wallabies defence. Again, Aussie's got much work to do. Did you watch the All Blacks and England game? I did. Very competitive between those two sides. New Zealand once again managing to get themselves the victory, but it was hard fought in that contest. Now, short side. Tompkins going to be driven backwards by Hunter Paisami. Oh, they're asking for offside there, Wales. They will not get in, and that might actually be their best bet. Oh, that's a knock-on from Costello. And that might be the game. Sam Cane versus Peter O'Mahony. That would be an entertaining one. And Japan is upstairs. Aiden. Rugby is a posh sport in England. Still, it is much bigger than league. Maybe in England there are more posh people, and in Australia there are not posh people. Says Dakota. And Atoje is in his prime now. He will dominate the next few years, says Easy Ollie. And even Etzebeth is the most toxic player in World Rugby. Here's Matthew. If that's true, Matthew, then why would World Rugby have not stepped in and banned those players using roids? Maybe think before you speak, says Nitro. Etzebeth versus Barrett. That'd be an interesting one. And two Wallabies wins to start the year. Impressive work by Joe Schmidt. Ox versus Kyle. To have a go at each other. You could go Joe Marler versus Stephen Kitsoff. I feel like the trash talk for that one would be quite good from Marler, but then Kitsoff would just be the silent assassin. And that duel, that is a massive push again from the Australians with 20 seconds to go. That should be the game now, ladies and gents. The score 36 points to 28 at the moment. Scoreboard is not updated, but it is a difference of 8 points. So they can use this last 10 seconds. They will wait it out. And they haven't seen the evidence that I have, says Matthew. Congratulations, new coach Joe and Razor. The Australians kick it out. And that will be the game, ladies and gentlemen. Australia picking up back-to-back wins. 36 points to 28 and a half for game. Wales were competitive in this contest, and they did fight back well after going down by 20 in the early stages of the game, but it wasn't enough, and Australia now get themselves that big victory. But the next game, like I mentioned, ladies and gentlemen, it is starting in 2 hours and 15 minutes time, or at least our commentary is. We are doing an hour of build-up for that one. Marla versus anyone would be legendary. And also, we have got there... It's ever such a fake tough guy, always pushing, never punches. He's a fraud. No, he's just a smart man. You throw a punch, you get banned. You give a push and a shove, you get to play the next week. It's about the mindset. All the close games in recent weeks have been won by Southern Hemisphere teams, and most of them ever so closely. And at the moment, we take the win, but not impressive. Credit to Wales. And also, we have got Wales continue to go down like Matthews. Oh, and for Kiwi lads, says Glenn Woods. Oh, you almost got me, Sandor. I almost read that out before thinking about it. Well done, Australia, from a box supporter, says Roz. Okay, that's what I mean. Don't act tough if you ain't it. Yeah, but he's just, like I said, he's smart. You're not gonna go around punching people in a game of rugby when you know you're going to get probably a 6-week ban for punching someone. This isn't the 1990s. Back in the old days, they used to punch and then they just go back to their work. But nowadays, you're not allowed to do it. I would still not want to be in a fight with Eben Etzebeth, and I think a lot of people would agree in that regard. I'm getting drunk. Says Spider Mick, and South Africans rather win the fight rather than the game. Says Samuel, and good commentary, mate. And Bok, you're next. Let's go, Will Chan, says Roz. So yeah, of course we are going to be covering that game. 2 hours, 15 minutes is when the build-up for that one is going to start. So if you are new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you all for the next one.